SNS is building a lot of 4D free spins, as we've been discussing on the show. But what it looks like they're going to be building in the future is some spin shot drop towers.
So
This,
it's a free spin on a tower.
yeah, that's that is not necessarily incorrect at all. Yeah, you're spinning 360 degrees on a ride vehicle now. So what used to be a four-seater, just normal drop tower with four-seat across for each side. So there was, I believe, 16 seats in total on each attraction. Now it's three seats across, and it's one axis that you're spinning on this bench. So you're on a, but all three of you are on the same axis, and you're all spinning in a 360 degree rotation. And it's interesting because this would actually be added to previous drop towers that created by SNS. So they can go back and they can retrofit older drop towers with this new overlay, with this new ride vehicle that spins 360 degrees. So any of the old bland, boring SNS models that you don't like can now be new and creative with this
I
awesome
think you
new.
could definitely see this. Like, I think like Hershey's, this would be a perfect candidate for like the Reese's Tower.
Yeah,
Um, Cedar Point could do like one or two of the power towers. Um, and I think they also said that they can program it and control where the positioning is. So you could actually kind of program it to be like Falcon's Flight, where it just you go up and then all of a sudden it turns you forward. Not is Falcon's Flight? Am I thinking of the right one? I don't know. You've all faced that one.
no, no, no. It's Falcon's Fury.
Okay.
Falcon's
There's too
Flight
many
is
Falcons
the
around.
tallest location in the
Falcon's
world.
Flight is yeah, that thing. Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah, it's that thing. But it's interesting. So they can. So I guess this isn't really a free spin. This is more like an actual 4D coaster where it's actually programmed and
Yeah.
designed on where you can actually specifically have people.
Straight from the
I think
website
this is
says customized ride profiles allow you to offer your guest an infinite number of unique thrilling thrills, including face up, face down, inverted drops, and launches.
ooh, face up is oh ooh that'd be interesting.
You can't see the ground.
That might be oh yeah. I
Mm.
don't know. That might be really interesting. Huh.
And I think this tower itself is actually, at least based on this, seems to maybe be both a hybrid, kind of like a hybrid drop tower, like where it's going to launch you and it's going to have just a regular drop as well. So you can like kind of almost choose, it seems,
Yeah.
because it says drops and launches, almost like you can choose
Right.
which one you want to do based on the
Well, I
ride.
mean, you if you think about it, the ride vehicle is exactly the same for both of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
launch pad. I
But
mean, they're all really kind of programmed.
I thought normally the SNSs are programmed to like at least normally they're either programmed to do like a couple launches and then go back up and do one big drop, or they do multiple big drops and they kind of launch you back up and down and up and down and up and down. So I don't know if it's actually going to be like a choice now that you can just do a drop or a launch or what, or you can just choose
Well,
whatever
see,
based
that's
on
the
the
thing.
ride experience or
I
based on the
always,
riders or what.
I kind of always thought that they were all just programmed. Like I could think, I kind of feel like you could just program any tower to be anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I don't know.
like for instance, Holiday World has a launch tower, but I think they could just reprogram it to be a drop tower.
Maybe.
I don't think the ride
Well,
systems are
Liberty
that
Launch does
different.
drop you, like it does have the actual drop too. It's not just a launch.
No, it does. No, it just drops you after the launch. It doesn't hold you up there.
I believe Liberty Launch holds you up there. I think the first thing it does is it takes you up and it drops you.
Yeah. Nope. It takes you at least when I was there beginning of the year it was still this way.
All right.
It just pulls you up a few feet and then it launches you. Um but either way it's kind of funny because I was actually just saying how like I feel like SNSs are like I love their launches, but their drops like as a drop tower I think they kind of fell. Like they just don't feel I don't know, they feel weird.
Mm-hmm.
Um it just doesn't seem like they have the same feeling, and which is weird because I don't know how you screw up a drop tower and make it not feel like a drop. But I've just kind of always felt that way that the drops just don't. I don't know. They don't pack the same punch as
And I want to
most.
correct myself because I don't know why I even thought this. Liberty Launch is I mean, it's a launch tower. Yeah, that's literally in the name. That's literally what they were trying to imply in the name. So I don't know why I thought for
Yeah,
some
it's
reason.
kind of it. Just like I think the thing is you were there when it actually shut down on us, maybe because it lifted us, started lifting us up, and then it stopped.
Oh
And I
yeah,
think that might be what you're thinking because it pulls you, it lifts you off the ground, maybe like
yeah.
5, maybe
Because on
ten
my last
feet
visit there,
before it
I rode it
launches
normally.
you.
So I don't know why I was thinking it wasn't.
Yeah,
I mean, it did. Yeah, that was just a brain fart there. But
but
yes,
anyway, I think that it could be reprogrammed. I don't know that for
yes,
sure, but I feel like
I
the
would assume
systems
so
are
as
the
well.
same. I think this is great though because actually, first of all, it's a cheaper version. It could be a cheaper version of Falcon's Fury.
Uh huh.
Parks could have something interesting, and it's reprogrammable. This is kind of the interesting thing. I think back to Waldemir when they got the I forget what they call it, but it's the pendulum ride that goes the whole way upside down.
Oh yes, yes.
This is in Perla, I believe. But the thing about Waldemir when they were purchasing that is they never felt like they were always gun shy about a ride that went upside down. They weren't really sure that it would be a hit with their market.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what led them to buy that ride specifically because they could try it. And if it just wasn't a hit going upside down, they could just reprogram it to be a normal pendulum ride.
Uh huh.
And I think this is kind of one of the things that I think could be a benefit with these towers is if you're a smaller park and you think, well, I kind of feel like we need something really thrilling, like a lot more thrilling. Um, but you could drop, you know, we could turn it into just a normal drop tower if it's not.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Discovery Revolution was the name of the pendulum. That's the model of the pendulum ride.
Mm-hmm.
That Waldemir got. But I think it could be the same thing, here where a park's like not really sure that we want to go that extreme, but maybe they could get it, program it to be extreme, and if it's not a hit, reprogram it to be a little more mild. Or they don't like drop towers. Let's reprogram it to be a launch tower. Or
Yeah.
you can do multiple things with the same ride system so that you can kind of find
Your target
what's
audience
best
and
for your
what they
park
want. Yeah.
without going, like for instance, Kennywood built Pitfall, which was a drop tower,
Yeah.
and it wasn't a hit. Like people that loved it,
Mm-hmm.
but there was rarely a line for it. This is kind of one of those things where okay, people aren't really into the drop tower thing. Let's try a launch tower. Let's try it. Let's
Without having to
reprogram it. Let's
rebuild
try
and
something
do
different.
construction, you can easily just
Exactly.
have that available. Yeah. That's great. It's a great idea.
Exactly.
I think it's awesome. So yes, this is exciting stuff. SNS is doing some great things here with with their drop towers. 'Cause I remember you, in particular, mentioned when we were writing that you're like the SNS drop towers just aren't that great. They're just kind of
Yeah,
bland and
that's
boring.
that's what I was just saying earlier. I just don't feel like I don't
Yeah,
know. It's like how do you screw up a drop tower? I don't know. It just doesn't feel as exciting as any other drop tower.
yeah,
I think they're like the weakest drop towers out there,
I would
and
agree.
and I don't really know why that is.
No, I don't either. So it's great that they're doing something new and different to improve the ride experience.
Yeah, and SNS is just in general is just doing a lot of great things. This is an up and coming company. I think we're going to see a lot of new and interesting things out of SNS.